Hello and welcome to the Aquent Summer of Learning. I'm Kelly Moeller. I am the team manager here at Vitamin C. We're a division of Aquent. I'm in Boston, Massachusetts. I'm going to be talking to you about Groovy Resumes and FarOut Portfolios. Just to kind of give you a little background on me, I have been a recruiter for 10 years, 3 of which have been at Aquent, where I've gotten the opportunity to work with thousands of the most amazing creative digital, print, copywriting, project management talent in the world, in my humble opinion. I regularly give talks on resume and portfolio tips and tricks at industry conferences and local universities. So I wanted to share a little bit of what I have learned through my journeys with you. So to kick it off, let's start with Groovy Resumes. So my first tip is don't over-design your resume. A lot of graphic design and creative talent feel compelled to put in a lot of fun swirls and colors and graphics and images and logos. Here's the thing, is that it actually winds up distracting the client, unfortunately. So my advice is to keep it very simple, leave a lot of open white space, and really just get down to the meat of what you've done in your prior positions. Use power words: develop, create, engineer. One of my biggest concerns when I see a resume is if the term participated in is used quite a bit, because participated in is not actually, it doesn't explain much about what you did. You know, I always use this example that I participate in the elections every year because I vote, but that doesn't mean I was the campaign manager or the copywriter or the social media strategist. Create different versions of your resume. I always go with the rule of 3. So it's good to have a technical version of your resume that really outlines what your background is in terms of HTML, CSS, JavaScript, any tools that you've worked with, Photoshop, InDesign, because those keywords are what a lot of clients and HR managers are searching on. It's also great to have a personality-focused resume. If you're applying to a company that really on their website touts how they are a fun, goofy, quirky culture, and nobody wears suits, and they all eat lunch together every day, and people skateboard around the office, right? So the personality-focused resume would probably get you a lot further with that company. And then the third is what I call the kitchen sink. So the kitchen sink is a resume, it's a living, breathing document that you continue to add to, so that if you need to go in to pull out information, you can go back to your kitchen sink resume. And the really cool thing is that if you have these 3 versions of your resume, you'll actually find that you wind up with a fantastic version of your resume that encompasses all 3 pieces. Tailor your resume to the role. I can't say this enough. I'll see resumes all the time for a web design role, and the resume doesn't actually talk about web design. It talks about print design or brochures or coding. And the thing is that a lot of folks that look at your resume on a first pass may not be someone who's educated on what the role is. It could be an HR manager who just really doesn't know what HTML and CSS and JavaScript do. So it's very important that if they list titles and roles and responsibilities, that you address those in your resume. Next, have a friend or 5 check it for typos. The thing with resumes is nobody likes to write them, is that you'll spend hours and hours and hours poring over your resume and you'll miss your own typos. Share it with your friends, parents, siblings, get their opinion, and just have them take a quick proofread. Break the one-page rule if you're experienced. I have a lot of folks that come up to me at conferences and say, but another company told me 1 page. Here's the thing. If you can fit all of your experience onto a 1-page resume and it's clean and clear, go for it. If you have a lot of years of experience, you may not be able to get away with a 1-page resume, and that's okay. Match your portfolio and your brand. So I will often see LinkedIn resumes, portfolios, and cover letters, but all of them are very different, and they have different terms and different responsibilities listed. Here's the thing. If you're applying for a project management role at a company, your resume should say project manager, your portfolio should say project manager, and your LinkedIn should say project manager. You should also list the same skills, the same types of projects that you've worked on. I know oftentimes folks, their resumes will get a little out of date, and so I'll look at an older version of their resume, and it doesn't match with their portfolio. And maybe if I hadn't looked at their portfolio, I would have missed all of this great experience. So make sure that everything matches. Leave white space. Leave white space. White space is amazing. White space immediately forces the reader to draw their attention to your awesome experience, therefore helping you get a job. Don't feel compelled to fill every single piece of your resume with words or images. Focus on your impact and results, not just your hobbies. I will all the time see resumes where there's a big section talking about brewing your own beer, and I love to go hiking, and I love to go skiing, which is awesome. I've actually seen people get jobs because they brew their own beer. That being said, they still want to know what you can do for their company. So make sure that that stuff is not emphasized and that your experience is clearly laid out so they can see how you could impact their organization rather quickly. Compare it with others in your field. Spy on people. Trust me, it works. You can go onto any Google or search engine and type in web designer in your city and see other portfolios of people that you're competing with for these awesome opportunities. Trust me, you'll gain a lot of understanding about what you're up against, and you may actually get some great ideas and tips. All right, FarOut Portfolios. I have 9 tips on how to make your portfolio far out. The first one, to kind of piggyback off of the discussion we're having on resumes, is to spy. The cool part about the digital landscape is that there's all these fantastic places that you can go and see other people's work and experience, and also showcase your own. A lot of clients and companies will go to these same places. Creative Hotlist is great. Crop is great. Behance.net is great. Coraflot's great. You can go into these awesome websites. Type in Web Designer Boston. You can see portfolios of work that other folks have done. You can also look for jobs on these websites. So please keep these in mind, because it's a great way to see if you're having, because a lot of folks struggle with updating portfolios. They don't know what is going to wow a hiring manager. Go on to any of these websites and think like a hiring manager. What appeals to you when you look at another person's portfolio and you go, wow, that is such a cool portfolio? There's nothing stopping you from having the same type of cool portfolio. Keep it up to date. I hear a lot from creative talent, especially in the field, who are working, that they're very, very, very busy. The problem is that if a client or hiring manager cannot see a lot of your most recent samples, they're going to assume that you don't have any. So I always urge folks, even if you're working, continually update your portfolio, add new samples, blast it out, put it on LinkedIn, tweet out that you have this awesome new sample in your portfolio. What it does is it keeps you relevant in the community, and it keeps you engaged in this greater conversation we call the creative world. BYOBM. This is a term I came up with a few years ago, and people always laugh when I use this term, because, especially high school and college students, because they think it means, you know, bring your own beer money. But it doesn't mean bring your own beer money. It means be your own best marketer. Talk about yourself to people. Tweet. Engage with industry thought leaders. Talk to them. Follow them. Retweet them. You know, be very involved in your community and in your portfolio, and sharing it with people and getting them engaged. They may have great tips and tricks for your portfolio. They may have work that you can help them on that you could add to your portfolio. This is one of the most important tips I'm going to give. Don't exhaust your hiring manager. I see a lot of portfolios where the images are very small, or there's a lot of little thumbnails, or I can't find where the navigation bar is, or I don't know where to go next, or you know, I click on something and it takes me to a wrong place, or I click on web but I'm seeing print samples. What happens when your portfolio functions that way is that hiring managers actually get tired of trying to find the awesome stuff that they want to see, so they won't. They'll stop looking at your portfolio. So when you create your portfolio or edit, make sure that it's very, very, very simple to find the awesome work that you talk about when you send them your resume. Make your most relevant work easy to find. All the time I'll have folks send me an email and say, I just worked on the coolest mobile app ever. And I'll go, great. So I'll go to their portfolio and I can't find it. So if you're super excited about something and if it's really cool and that you're applying for a mobile app job and you've worked on a mobile app and it's been released, or if you've worked on a really cool website and that's what I want to interview you for as a hiring manager, I need to be able to find it really, really quickly. So 2 seconds or less. Keep your brand consistent. I talked about this in the resume section, but it's very, very important that all of your brands, because as creatives, you're a brand, right? So make sure that your brand is consistent across all channels, your LinkedIn, your Twitter, your resume, your portfolio, everything that's out, your blog, everything that's out there about you. Make sure that your brand is consistent across every channel. Less is more. I'm a huge fan of white space, as I've mentioned before a couple of times, but something to keep in mind is that your portfolio is showcasing your work, right? It's not necessarily showcasing you. So it's very important that your portfolio is very clean and simple, and that as a hiring manager, I can go there and find relevant work, find out a little bit about you, find out what I need to know, and then I can reach out to you. I see a lot of portfolios that incorporate photography businesses or hobbies or family photographs. Those things are great, but as your portfolio, you don't want to clutter. Keep it functional. You'd be surprised how many portfolios out there are very, 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 very difficult to navigate, and they don't function as they should. Or people try to sass it up too much, and so there's lots of flash banners happening or lots of blinking lights and crazy things happening. You want it to function like a wall would in a museum or in an art gallery. You want it to showcase your work, so make sure that it functions in that capacity. But also by keeping in mind, it's still a website, so it has to function like a website. And finally, your links should work. They just should. Here's how you can find me. Thanks for spending time with me. My name is, again, Kelly Moeller. I am in Boston. Here's my email address and phone number. Connect with me on Twitter, LinkedIn, and happy hunting.